All right, shalom, shalom. This is Brother Kashakwala coming back at you with another lesson, giving all glory, honor, and praises unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Wakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, salutation to the elect 144 first fruit, and to the sincere Akim pushing this world with all truth and sincerity. I just want to make a quick lesson because I was reading through Isaiah 6 and 1, and the name Uzziah came up. I understood that was a king of Israel at the time. Okay, so I'm going to read Isaiah 6 and 1. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw also the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. And the main thing I want to focus on is King Uzziah, but I'll read it and break it down, this verse in particular anyway. It says the year of the King Uzziah died. So that year would be 740 BC. Okay, that's when King Uzziah died. And it says, I saw also the Lord sitting upon a throne. And we know Yahweh never gets off his throne. Okay, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. When you look into the word train, it's like his garment was everywhere pretty much. Okay, and we all know he's in pure white. Okay, so going back again to Uzziah, because the Spirit led me to start reading in the 2nd Kings, the 14th chapter. Okay, and the 14th chapter speaks a lot on Amaziah. Okay, all right, so let's see. Yeah, Amaziah. But who we want to focus on is Azariah, which is another name for Uzziah. Okay, so this is 2 Kings 14 and 21, and all the people of Judah took Azariah, which was 16 years old. So Uzziah became king at the age of 16. Okay, and it says which was 16 years old, and made him king instead of his father Amaziah. He built Elath and restored it to Judah. After that, the king slept with his fathers. So in 2 Kings 14, they give you a quick synopsis of Uzziah's reign and a few accomplishments that he had. To read about him, you go to 2 Chronicles, the 26th chapter, which the whole 26th chapter is about him. Okay, but when I was reading through it, the main thing that stood out to me and I thought was pretty interesting, that I do want to relinquish this information to Akim, hopefully it's edifying, is his army and his inventions. Okay, and with this lesson, this goes to show you that the Israelites are very, very creative. Okay, in the art of war and everything. Okay, so 2 Chronicles 26 and 11. Moreover, Uzziah had a host of fighting men that went out to war by bands. And the bands, when you look that up, it means troop. And when you have a troop, it means you have squads. Okay, so his army was split up in squads. Okay, even when I think you read either 1st or 2nd Chronicles, the 12th chapter, it goes into all the tribes that came to help King David out, and they are all in their prospective bands. Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, Zebulon was good with rank. Okay, so according to the number of their account by the hand of Jewel, Giel, I think that's how you pronounce it, the scribe of Maas, Salak if I'm butchering this, of Manasseh, the ruler, under the hand of Hananiah, one of the king's captains. Okay, so you see how they were broken up. The army was broken up. Verse 12. The whole number of the chief of the fathers of the mighty men of valor were 2,600. So yeah, 2,600 chiefs or captains or sergeants, generals or whatnot you want to say. Yeah, 2,600 of them. Okay, verse 13. And under their hand was an army, 300,000, 7,000, and 500. Okay, that made war with mighty power to help the king against the enemy. That's right, because when you read further up, about Uzziah, he did take down a lot of the Philistines in Gath. He broke down their walls and rebuilt, like it said in Second Kings, he rebuilt Elath. Okay, so that was some of his accomplishments right there. But that was an army he used to make forward advances on the enemies. Okay, obviously the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai was with him as well, because when you read up, it says, verse 3, 2 Chronicles 26:3. 16 years old was Uzziah when he began to reign, and he reigned 52 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name also was Jecoliah of Jerusalem. Verse 4, and he did which was right in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his father Amaziah did. So the Lord was with him when he was in his battles. Okay, so he had 300,000 men who were broken up in bands, who were under 2,600 captains. Okay, and this is something, just a picture I wanted to bring up of like a band or of 300,000 troops. Okay, you got like right here and right here, probably the captains, one of the 2,600 captains leading the whole band army right here. Okay, that's probably another captain right there doing his war cry, because a lot of Israelite men were valiant and were expert in war. Okay, so going back, and Uzziah, verse 14, and Uzziah prepared for them throughout all the host shields and spears and helmets and habergeons and bows and slings to cast stones. Yep. So you can see it right here. They had spears, they had shields, they had swords. Okay. They had all those type of weapons to go to war. Okay. But this is what what the Spirit led me to investigate. Okay. Verse 15. And he made in Jerusalem engines. Okay. Let's look at the word engines. It says a device or invention. Okay, so I was like, a device and invention. So what did he invent? Okay, what did he invent? Okay, invented by cunning men to be on the towers upon bulwarks, to shoot arrows and great stones withal. And his name spread far abroad, for he was marvelously helped till he was strong. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there in 2 Chronicles 26:15. And the 15th verse is the main thing I want to focus on, which was engines and an invention and inventions. Okay, so I was like, an engine, straight off the bat. When I kept reading, right here it says invented by cunning men. All right, to be on the towers upon the bulwarks, to shoot arrows and great stones. Right then and there, I was like, easy money. It has to be a catapult. Okay. So I did research and I was like, when was the catapult invented? And they say 400 BCE in Greece. So let's read. And I say they say, I'm emphasizing that because this is false. Because obviously King Uzziah was before Greece. About 300 some odd years. More, 400 some odd years probably before Greece. Because King Uzziah died in 740 BC. And as we know, the BCs go down and AD go up. Okay, meaning during the time. So I'm just going to read this quickly. The catapult was an ancient siege machine that could hurl heavy objects or shoot arrows with great force and for considerable distances. So that's exactly what we read right here. Invented by cunning men to be on towers and upon bulwarks, to shoot arrows and great stones withal. Okay, and it says some catapults could throw stones weighing as much as 350 pounds for distances greater than 300 feet. The Greek Dionysius, if I'm pronouncing that, the elder of Syracuse, who was looking for to develop a new type of weapon, invented the catapult about 4 BCE, which is false. The Israelites created the catapults. When you go back to 2 Chronicles 26:15, because this is something invented by cunning men. Okay, let's look up cunning. All right. Cunning, to think, plan, esteem, calculate, invent, make a judgment, imagine. So they had an imagination and decided to put it in and decided to manifest that imagination that was given to them. So with that, let me get a quick precept, okay? So let's see something. I think it is right here. This is Isaiah 54:16. It says, "Behold, I created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy." Now, we all understand that it's speaking about the nuclear missiles as a prophecy. But also, it says, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire." And this is coming out of Isaiah. And Isaiah was during the time, around about the time of the end of the King Uzziah's reign. So this could pertain, but more pertains to prophecy, but could pertain to these men who were cunning, and had imaginations and had calculations to invent a catapult. Okay, they were the blacksmiths creating these weapons. Simple as that. That's why I can incorporate Isaiah 54 into this. Okay. It says Isaiah 54:16, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire." And that smith in the prophecy is speaking about Robert Oppenheimer, if I'm not mistaken, or you could say Albert Einstein, um, Otto Hahn. Those were like German chemists. And then you had the Manhattan Project. That's more so what Isaiah 54:16 is speaking about. But like I said, you can relate it to right here of these cunning men, because the Lord put that in their head to have that imagination to build a catapult, and they put it to work. Okay. So going back to this little article, this is false, 400 BC, because we understand that King Uzziah was ruling in about the 700 BC. Okay, so this was when this was actually created. Okay, so right here it says that this is another article, came out 2014 June 19th. It says, "What were Uzziah's machines?" Okay, and when you read that, right here it says the obvious explanation is that these devices were catapults, but this is merely raises another question. The general accepted history of the catapults holds that it was first invented in Greek city-state of Syracuse on the island of Sicily in 399 BC. Right here, 400 BC. Okay, so now they're raising the question. Well, hold up. King Uzziah already had these. It says the Syracusan general Dionysius had led a military coup in 405 BC that overthrew Syracuse's democratically elected government and installed himself as a dictator. His first acts were to put Syracuse's society and economy on a war footing in preparation for attacking Carthage. Okay, so all this push to shove, this debunks this. It's obvious that King Uzziah had the catapult and brought that in before anybody else. So the catapult in all actuality was first created around 700s BC, and I really thought that was interesting. And of course, Esau always takes our inventions and puts their name on it and says they created it at this time, when in all actuality the Israelites created the catapult, which you can read about in 2 Chronicles 26 and 15. So that's all I have for you, Akim, today, and I hope you were edified. I want to give all glory, honor, and praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who were well. Peace, love, salutation to the elect 144. Shalom.